I also love that feeling on set where, everything, so much is conspiring against the feeling of truth. With the lights and the cameras and the entire crew looking at you, and that moment when you finally are looking into somebody else's eyes, and when you feel the click of reality,
right,
and you feel that connection brewing in a way. It's a great
It's like
feeling.
when we first met. I remember they
That's
were
exactly
basically
what it was like.
describing our
this
first
is,
meeting.
This is our love
You're
affair.
cheating on me with Jodie, and I hate you for it.
I'm a third wheel today. Prepare your ears, humans. Happy, sad, confused begins now.
I'm Josh Horowitz, and today on Happy, Sad, Confused, this is like an all-star edition of the podcast. Two of my favorites are here. I'm obsessed with this film. The BIKERIDERS is the movie. Jodie Comer, Austin Butler. Only one of you can win this competition. You're going to fight to the death for the love of Happy, Sad, Confused today, okay?
Okay.
No pressure.
Ready.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
I can't with my fighting gloves on.
No, truly, congratulations. I think you both know I'm a big fan of this film. And you've been working it. You've been traveling the world on behalf of this one. How are you doing? How are you remaining upright and coherent? What's your level of cognition right now?
My God, it's like the final 2 days.
Yeah, final 2 days.
I had the premiere in LA a couple nights ago,
Right.
which was super fun. This probably took the energy down a little bit just for the late night and the early flight, but we're good. It's been fun.
Yeah, I never really know where I am these days.
Yeah, you're in New York.
I'm in New York now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in a weird box in Midtown.
Yeah, literally.
It's a very aesthetic box. that
Thank
we're
you.
in.
I did my best. The LA premiere, I think, brought out everyone from Cher to Jason Momoa.
Yeah, that was.
That's an
pretty
interesting
incredible.
And
guest
Sharon
list.
Stone as well was
Sharon
there.
Stone was there.
And the most incredible full leopard outfit I seen actually
love
afterwards.
her
I didn't
so
see her in
much.
person, but I was like,
Yeah.
that woman.
Did you get some Cher time? Did you get some Momoa time?
I saw both. Yeah.
Did you know they were coming? Is that like
I
you
knew
looked around the corner, you're
I knew
like,
Jason was coming.
yeah.
Because we had talked about this. I was with him in Brazil for, was it Comic-Con that we did in Brazil?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
I forget the movie,
yeah.
Comic-Con-ish thing. Yeah.
And so he and I hung out there, and he said he was excited about the film, and I said, you got to come to the premiere. And so he rode up with all his crew, and so I see Momoa was the first person I saw when I got out of the car, and he'd ridden up with all his crew and his wonderful daughter, and so it was great to see him. He and I had talked about the film when we were in Brazil together.
Oh, nice.
And then Cher, that
was a wild
pretty
card.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's one of those things.
meeting
That's not on the bingo card.
Yeah,
You're
you-
like,
you
I'm going to
don't.
just hang with Cher at my movie
Yeah.
premiere.
I also I have such regrets because I couldn't bring myself to go over because I was so, I don't know, I was like, I couldn't believe it was her, but Austin and Norman did, and I
Yeah.
regret that now.
there will come a day.
There were,
what-
yeah.
maybe not.
What did you want to say? Is it Moonstruck? Is there a specific role? Is it just like Witches of Eastwick? Like, what's the Cher? She's an icon. Yeah.
Like, just Cher, full stop. Like, there's no, full stop.
I think of Cher and Sam Elliott on a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, Mask.
The sexiest couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Also, what was the show that she did in the 70s?
Oh, well, it was Sonny and Cher show,
Right.
the variety show.
I
Yeah,
mean,
of
those
course.
clips, like, I'm
Yeah.
just obsessed with.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It makes me thinking of icons. I think the last time I saw you in person, Austin, we're having a nice conversation at the Dune premiere at the party.
Yeah.
And then this guy rolls up, Sting, who wants to
yeah,
meet you,
yeah.
pushes me aside. I get it. What was that like to finally meet Sting? Is that because were you anticipating that moment?
No,
At some point, you must have known that was going to happen.
I didn't know he was there until I was on the carpet, and somebody in an interview said that he was there. And again, I mean, there's these certain people who are beyond icons. Cher, Sting, and also Sting had played the same role. So getting to celebrate with him, and he's what a gentleman, what a absolute class act. And
Did he give you the fade secret handshake, the thumbs up? What did he say?
He just gave me a hug, and that was all I needed.
That's it. Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
It's like these press tours are always funny. Like what is entailed. Again, like I can't imagine like Indy 500. Does that feel like you're a total fish out of water? Again, like that's not your
Totally.
speed.
No.
No pun intended.
I feel like you intended that pun, Josh.
was no pun intended.
That was you were ready to go with that one.
I will go there.
Yeah, I think we both did. Like, it was a whole new...
Jodie looked completely at home. You looked like you were born there.
I don't know. Once they gave me the flag, I was like, okay. I was like,
do this thing.
but we were nervous because, like, we just got so many chats throughout the day of, like, do not drop it. Basically, don't F this up because
Sure.
you will never live it down and it will be on camera
yeah.
for the rest of your lives. Then we had to climb up that tiny yet ginormous
It was narrow but very
ladder.
tall ladder.
It was a lot, but it went well.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
exhilarating.
We didn't drop the flags.
We
I was
didn't drop
proud
the
of that.
flags. I think they were happy with
Yeah.
our service.
Mission accomplished. Not
Yeah.
only great performances in a film, but a great press tour. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But more important than the actual performance.
What I loved,
Yeah.
what
I mean,
loved is how
honestly.
they kicked us off the tower.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They were ready for us to go. We
Like-
kind of wanted to...
Yeah, we stayed for maybe 10 laps, and then the gentleman up there, he goes,
Yeah, we're good.
He says, watch your step on the way down. And that's how he told us
we
to
were like,
leave.
okay. But we were
Yeah.
also like, well, we heard Jack Nichols stayed up here for 100
Jack
laps.
Nicholson stayed for a long
But
time.
we knew it was our cue to leave when he kindly told us basically not to trip on the...
I
on
thought
the-
that would be great if you throw a party at your house and you just say, just watch your step on the way out. And,
Right.
and that's how you close the party down.
This reminds me, you guys know I've done live events with Jodie and with you, Austin. I did one the other night with Kevin Costner for Horizon.
Oh, man,
And
how
I've
cool.
never seen this cool move done before. By some people, you might feel like it's like a jerk move,
Yeah.
but with Kevin Costner, it was perfect. I asked a question about 45 minutes in, and he's like, I think we've taken up enough time of the audience tonight, guys. I want you all to just... And he gives like this like amazing like, monologue about the film. And then before I knew it, like he had wrapped my panel. I was like, that's a movie star
Wow.
move. That's like
Wow, what a way to take control.
I know. And I was kind of like in awe. I was like not annoyed. I'm like, yeah, you're Kevin Costner. You can do that.
That's
Well,
amazing.
Josh, this has been a great podcast.
Thank you. I think we've taken up enough of your time.
That is not the lesson to take away from this show. All right, let's give some love to this movie. The Bike Riders, Jeff Nichols, fantastic writer, director, an amazing ensemble. This has like all my spirit animals in it, in addition to you guys, Michael Shannon, my obsession, Tom Hardy, the best. Talk to me about like obviously this relationship, and a lot of people are talking about like the chemistry between you two, and it is palpable on screen. Like, how do you prepare for that? Like, do you like to be kind of spontaneous on set, or do you like to spend a lot of time with your co-star, kind of figuring it out beforehand?
I mean, I love a bit of spontaneity. I also feel like you're not always afforded the luxury of like spending time with your co-stars and getting to know them an awful lot. Austin and I had gone for dinner with Jeff a couple of days before we started, which was really lovely. But yeah, and I think as well, Austin had just come off Dune the week, like day before he was filming Dune and then came to Cincinnati. So time was of the essence in that respect. So we just kind of had to jump in. But I think we work in very similar ways, and it was just very easy. Yeah.
I remember we did our podcast over Zoom while you were shooting, as I recall. You were in
Yeah, that's right.
Cincinnati.
I was in Cincinnati.
And that was in the middle. You're still in the
Yeah.
middle of not only coming off of Dune, but
That's
like the
right.
press tour, the insane press tour of
that's
Elvis.
right.
So was that a respite in a way? Like, oh, this is what I actually do. I can focus up on this.
Yeah, it's nice when you kind of get away from the noise of everything. I love this process because we're getting to celebrate the film. You get to celebrate, all the work that everybody's put in, and but you're inherently objectifying the process.
Yeah,
you're looking at it from afar, and it starts to make you feel further and further from the actual work.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're also expected to have an answer for everything.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
of
Or
course.
like reduce certain elements to like one thing,
right.
yeah.
which can be hard. But
So it's nice when you get back on set, or you're just in a small town in Cincinnati,
Doing it.
Yeah.
doing the thing.
Have you ever been in this situation where you're at a lovely family gathering and suddenly you're in a conversation with maybe an aunt, an uncle, a sister-in-law, and you find yourself bending the truth a little bit? Like maybe your relationship's going perfectly, maybe you're about to get the promotion you're not actually going to get. That's fine in that situation, I suppose, but that can't be the situation when you're talking to your doctor. You have to be absolutely truthful. Your health is too important, guys. Enter ZocDoc. It's the place where you can find and book doctors who will make you feel comfortable and actually listen to you. And we're not talking about just a few. We're talking about tens of thousands of patient-reviewed, verified doctors. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated, in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online. Once you find the doctor you want, you can book them that very second. No more waiting awkwardly on hold with a receptionist. And did I mention all these doctors have verified reviews from actual, real patients? Plus, you can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat basically any condition that you're searching for. If I need a doctor, I use ZocDoc. Go to ZocDoc.com/happysad. Download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/happysad. ZocDoc.com/happysad. I know this. You had a lot of conversation about kind of like the meeting, the first meeting between your characters in the film. And I heard Jeff say something like to the effect that he knew that moment had to be like one of the most erotic moments in film ever.
Wow.
Did he say that to you beforehand? Because that's
a lot of pressure.
That's
He
a lot
didn't
of
say that to me.
pressure.
No, he didn't say that to me either. But I think what we felt was like you spend such a limited amount of time with Benny and Kathy.
Yeah.
And that meeting was something she spoke very explicitly about, and it felt integral to understand where this all began.
Yeah.
Like why did she go there? Why did why did she kind of choose this avenue and
There's a lot of unbroken eye contact in that first meeting. There's a fine line, I feel like, between romance and unbroken eye contact and creepiness in unbroken eye contact.
Yeah,
like a certain,
yeah.
like 5 seconds, great. 20 seconds,
Too long.
call somebody,
yeah.
call for help.
Yeah.
Like, is that a choice? Is that like, we're just going to kind of like lean in and see like how long we can kind of sustain these like silent moments? Because it's almost the
Yeah.
pauses in that scene that make
Yeah.
it so amazing.
I always love those moments in film. I remember the first time seeing Drive.
Yeah.
You know, in those moments where they're looking at each other.
Yeah.
Carey Mulligan and Ryan, and just being enamored by that, and all those unspoken things and then you end up projecting upon them all the ideas that are in their heads, and and I also love that feeling on set where, you know, everything, so much is conspiring against the feeling of truth, with the lights and the cameras and the entire crew looking at you, and that moment when you finally are looking into somebody else's eyes, and when you feel the click of reality,
Right.
and you feel that connection brewing in a way. It's a great
It's like
feeling.
when we first met. I remember
That's
they
exactly what it
basically
was like.
describing
Yeah,
our
this
first
is-
meeting.
this is our love
You're
affair.
cheating on me with Jodie, and I hate you for it.
I'm a third wheel. today.
I was going to say, it's the same with us, Jodie. You know that.
Yeah, you're basically Tom Hardy in this situation. Yeah.
Wow. I was going to mention, what an electric performer always. Like, he
Yeah.
steps on set, and there's something palpable, fair to say. Like, he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And is it about kind of like the unpredictable nature that he brings, or is it just, I don't know, like what's the Tom Hardy vibe on set on a day that you're shooting with him versus another actor?
I think that there is an unpredictability, a spontaneity within his performance. I think he also, like I've said this a lot, but like I've never worked with anyone who has such like an innate understanding of the camera and his relationship to the
Interesting.
camera and what it wants. And you know, I really witnessed that when I watched the film for the first time as an audience member. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, like his certain choices that he makes, and what that does visually
Yeah.
is like so powerful and stunning and can be quite profound. And I'd never seen someone work in that way before.
And an actor not afraid to make big choices. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, I spent 2 years obsessed with the Bane voice, basically. I couldn't like stop it.
Had breakfast with your wife. And
No, truly. I actually did it to Tom once, and it was the scariest moment of my
Oh,
life.
wow.
He was very sweet about it.
It's like when did you ever see when Tom Hiddleston did the Robert De Niro
Yes,
impression?
on
in front
Graham
of
Norton. Yeah.
Amazing. So good.
You're going to do your Cher impression next time you see her, right?
Yeah.
How much time would it take you to get Austin down, to do your Austin Butler impression?
How long would it war?
How long would it take to nail down the Austin impression for you?
I don't know.
Should we make it a project for our next meeting?
Yeah. I'll play you in your biopic.
There you go.
Oh, that's
you
good.
would be my choice.
Jodie Comer is Austin Butler in the event of the season. I mean, it's $1 billion right there. What was I gonna say? Speaking of voice, and I know you're talking a lot about this, but the first time, do you remember the first time you heard her as Kathy, and what did you think?
Yeah. The first time was an audio that Jeff showed me. So Jeff had sent me the actual Kathy interview, and I'd listened to that over and over because it taught me a lot about Benny and their relationship and whatnot. And then he and I, we were in Cincinnati, and it was our first time seeing each other in Cincinnati, and he said, I got something to show you, and he plays me this audio recording. And I said, oh no, I've heard that. That's the Kathy recording.
Wow.
And it was Jodie, and it blew my mind. I mean, she was just pitch perfect. So and then being on set and seeing her be able to be that precise, but then also have freedom and to be spontaneous within something that is incredibly precise and specific. I mean, it was like a masterclass.
Is there a moment, you must feel out on a limb, like first day, first hours, like is there a moment where you settle in, you're like, I've committed, I'm all in, and this is what it's gonna be, and you're gonna love it or hate it, but this is my...
Yeah, well, it was weird because my first day was with Mike in the house, and it's kind of like that sequence where she's putting the vinyl on and she's sitting on she's shouting out the window, and there was a lot of there was just a lot going on in that scene, and I actually she felt very present then. It was more like a couple of weeks in when I was predominantly my scenes with Mike, just because she speaks so much.
Right.
Where I did have a couple of moments of just feeling a bit lost, but I realized quite quickly that it was because I'd had this audio and I loved it so much and I wanted to get as close to it as I possibly could. I was almost like limiting myself because it was taking me away from being present in the moment and just being like, that's who she was, and now this is a version of that, you know. So it was like, it was good for me to realize that
Totally.
As I was going along, and I had a lot of trust in Jeff. You know, I said to him, I was like, it's very distinct, it's kind of unusual, I know there's going to be days where I do this and it sounds too much or not right, and I trust you to come in and be honest with me, you know. So I feel like when you, whatever it is that you're doing, when you feel held by a director in that way, you can play and try.
I'm struck by, like, I've had a chance to talk to Jeff a lot over the years too, and like his vibe is so chill. He's like, I mean, you guys have worked with some of the best, and like clearly, like you're chasing great directors as you should in your career, but like Baz is not Jeff. Like Ridley Scott is not Jeff. Like they are different energies.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine, like, what is the Jeff Nichols validation on set? It must be kind of pretty low key, or does he have a different kind of demeanor on set than when I chat with him?
He's pretty low key.
Yeah.
Very. What I love about Jeff is like his films are so beautiful aesthetically, but like, you know, he's like, his heart is with the characters and the emotional truth and integrity of the piece. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's nice to know that you're with a kind of auteur who like is gonna create something very visually stunning and cinematic, but is really caring about like, do I believe this, and what do you want to try, or I don't necessarily believe that, what is it you're trying to do, you know. I find that communication as an actor, like, all I want, you know, is that kind of clear direction and communication.
Yeah.
Because some directors don't direct a lot.
Right.
In a sense of giving you notes on performance.
Yeah, set up the cameras, set the scene.
I've definitely had moments where I'm like, oh, okay, I feel like maybe whatever I do, you may be happy with. So I want to be very careful about what I choose to do here.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about like the themes of the film? Look, it's about people that are trying to find a place in the world, right? Find a culture, find a group, which we all are, right? This is a subculture, but it's very relatable. I talked to Jeff a lot about like Goodfellas and Scorsese, and it feels like that. You're diving into like a quote unquote subculture, but it's very relatable because we're all looking for that in a way. For you guys, I assume that culture, that subculture was acting. Is that kind of like where you both found security, found your place early on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we've maybe touched on this in some of our conversations, but when I was first on a film set at 11 or 12, that was the first time I felt I was part of a community of like-minded people in a way, and it helped me to get out of my shy shell that I was in.
Sure.
And still to this day, I mean, it's such a traveling circus feeling where you go around the world and you create this family, and you're all trying to serve this story as best as you possibly can as a unit, you know, and you create a family, and
getting your sense
it's
of
beautiful.
And getting your sense of identity from that. Because I sometimes I hate that about myself, but I'm also like, it's kind of true
that you're defined by it, but it is.
Yeah, but it's also the truth of nothing has ever really fulfilled me in that way. You know, I feel like the Vandals feel of they belong here and they see each other within the other members of the gang, and what the feeling that they get, the freedom that they get from being a part of it.
But also, when it's all clicking, right? When everybody is unified. But what I mean is that it must be the best feeling where it's we're all driving towards one direction, and we're all putting our heart and soul into it. And this is a family for the next 2-3 months, 6 months, and then I'll see you down the road on the next one. It's kind of it's a bizarre existence, but it's real. Were you guys both rebels growing up? What was the most rebellious? Were you grounded a lot as kids? Were you were good? You were good kids.
I feel like I was a fairly obedient, good boy. Yeah, but I
to get into trouble. What did you do?
My biggest thing was just as soon as somebody told me to do something, I wanted to do the opposite. So I liked to clean my room, but as soon as my parents told me to clean my room, I did not want to clean my room anymore.
Right.
So I think that's just, there's a bit of rebellious spirit in there in that way.
Got it.
Yeah.
Don't.
But I never snuck out of the house, but I also didn't have to, because my parents were really cool, and my mom, she was very much in the mindset of, if you tell me everything, I'm just going to support you through it all, and I'll love you, and I'll tell you my opinions on things. But she wasn't, ruling me with an iron fist or anything.
Just the right amount of freedom.
Yeah.
For you, Jodie, would your parents agree that you were a good kid?
I think on a whole, yeah.
On the grand scheme of things, yeah.
Yeah, I think I definitely have my moments. But I think they would say on a whole, I was a good kid.
Yeah.
A little handful every maybe now and then.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely used to do this thing as a kid, which is awful, but if I'd been sent up the stairs or whatever, I would stand on the top of the stairs and scream crying, and then as soon as I heard my dad get up off the sofa, I would run into my room. So I did that kind of stuff, which I imagine as a parent you're I'm gonna
right.
So I'll let you be the judge. I don't know.
No, that's on the. You're a good kid.
Yeah.
Still good kids at heart. We all are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you share similar movie tastes? Have you compared notes? This is why I enjoy talking to both of you for many reasons. Is you both have very good taste in filmmakers, I would say. Have you bonded over any films or no?
There's been some that you've mentioned recently that I've never seen.
Are you aware of Jodie's Shrek love? Has she made you watch all the Shrek films?
No.
Also, Josh, you literally landed me in that with that Shrek quiz.
I didn't pull that out of my ass. You claim to be a Shrek expert.
No, you pulled it out of your ass and you put me on the spot, and I failed.
You failed
I
the
love
Shrek quiz?
but then Josh on my last podcast gave me a Shrek trivia. And when you're on the spot, and then I just I forgot everything. Anyway,
You're okay. Did you hear?
I'm not okay. Actually.
Yeah, that's amazing. You came back. Thank you. Wait, did you? I saw this online and I thought of you. The actress Lily Reinhart went to a Shrek rave. Did you know such a thing? Did you know that such a thing existed?
I don't know if I love it that much. Well, you exposed me, so maybe I don't. I draw my line at Shrek rave.
Yeah. Okay. No longer a Shrek expert.
Yeah. I don't think we have.
The most with Shrek is you commented on somebody's Shrek phone case the other day and said how much you loved it.
Oh,
That's when I first heard about
It's
that.
still there.
At the Indy 500.
Someone was like, "Can we get a picture?" And then she put her phone
She
up
had
and
a
she had a
Shrek
Shrek phone.
case.
Yeah, that's true actually.
So what's your Shrek? What's your personal? Everyone has a personal Shrek. What's your franchise? If I don't have a quiz for you. Don't worry.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean The Office. We just were talking about that. The American Office, the UK Office as well, but the American one I saw first, and it meant a lot to me. Every time I would go on location when I was 16, 17, I brought the DVDs with me, and I would play them, and it was my
Wow.
comfort was watching those episodes over and over.
What do you travel with now for comfort? Is there something you?
It's a good question. You know, I
Jodie
just
pulling
never
her weight.
feel-
Sorry, I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
pull up
No,
a
this
peer
is
next
perfect.
to-
This is less work for me.
Sorry, no, I'm sidetracking.
Yeah, I now bring a speaker with me, and I play music, and sometimes, you know, somebody the other day told me they bring a candle, the same candle around the world. I haven't done that because I always feel like it's gonna break.
It's great mood lighting for a weird hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
I'm
what I
not a
mean?
fan
You
of
like don't put the
fluorescent
weird lights on and you just put a little candle on. You're like, oh, okay.
I always turn off the lights and act like a vampire.
It's that guy, that creepy guy with the sound coming out of the room in the darkness. That's Austin. That's just an Austin thing.
Yeah.
What's your comfort? What do you bring with you for comfort?
I like to take some sage or some Palo Santo and some good tea bags. A little sachet of different tea bags.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think it's good to have options.
You guys are very busy, not only doing press for this, but wait, have you started 28 years later?
Yeah, I'm like in it.
You're in it.
I'm in it when I'm not here. I'm in it.
So that's again, this is like Dune, Elvis all over again. The
Yeah.
switch and the code
Yeah.
switching must be crazy.
Yeah.
I know, look, we have a long time to talk about it, but like Danny Boyle, like talk about enthused, talented, epic visionary
Enthused
director.
is such a good word, actually, because that's one thing I'm really realizing of like his playfulness and his energy and his enthusiasm, and he's so innovative, and his relationship with Anthony, our DOP, and
Right.
what they're kind of playing around with. It's like so exciting. And to be led by someone who has that energy, it just like filters through every aspect of the production, you know?
I mean, that first film, as you well know, groundbreaking in so many different ways. So that's the same DP I think he worked on the original, right? I mean, shot originally on like consumer DV cameras, the empty streets of London.
Yeah.
Are there callbacks? Is it going to feel connected to that first one stylistically?
I think so. And I think there'll be a lot of, like, just seeing what they're doing with the camera work, like, I think there'll be a lot of new, you know, it's him, you know, it's Danny. It's like, I think he's constantly trying to find new ways. And I think just seeing where they've gone with it and all the new kind of additions and explorations, I think people are going to be really excited.
Yeah. Alex Garland's script. I mean,
exactly.
like,
I'm also sworn to secrecy, so
I'm
trying to find a way of like,
you're good,
getting around there.
You're good.
Yeah.
Well, we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But speaking of filmmakers, you just wrapped, I think, with Ari, right? Ari
That's
Aster.
right. Yeah.
Dude, you're like collecting them like you're collecting figurines, like just like amazing filmmaker after amazing filmmaker. How extreme on the crazy Ari Aster scale is Eddington?
What can I say? What can I say? It's I mean, it's from the mind of Ari Aster, so you can imagine what that entails. But what can I say? Joaquin Phoenix is an absolute genius. I always go back and forth. I'm gonna say Emily Stone.
Yes, yes.
She is out of this world, and his script is something else. I mean, I'm so excited for people to see this one.
Yeah.
I had the time of my life getting to work on that.
Austin's not going to answer any Heat 2 questions for me. Do you have any questions about Heat 2 for Austin? Can you be the tough?
I don't want to be that guy.
I do. I want to be.
Sorry, no, I meant like I don't want to be the guy to like ask you that question again.
In theory, we don't. This is all in the ether. We have no idea.
Neither do I.
You don't. Okay. Michael Mann, though, a fan.
Big fan.
Heat, a seminal work.
Yes.
In theory, what would it be like to inherit the shoes of Val Kilmer?
I mean, I think that that film, what they did with it, is something that inspired me a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it inspired so many actors. And I mean, to get to see De Niro and Pacino with each other for the first time in that way, and it's such an authentic film as well, so visceral.
Yeah.
But I think any opportunity to work with a master like Michael Mann is a gift to any actor who gets to work with him.
Do you guys keep the
So
translation, Jodie? What do we think?
don't know. You answered that very, very well.
Good job.
Yeah.
She didn't get fired 28 years later. You haven't been fired from Heat 2, whether you got it or not. I might be fired from my own podcast. I don't know. I run it myself. How can I fire myself? I don't know. But a couple other projects I do want to mention. You're going to work with Michael Cernovsky. Hugh Jackman, come on.
I know. I'm very, very excited about
Did
that.
that happen? So Hugh, I know, saw you on stage. Did he come by and say hi? Did that kind of initiate this in a little bit of a way?
No, I was saying to Austin before, I didn't really meet anyone after the show. Like when I was doing the play, I didn't really meet anyone after the play, but I know that he came, and I kind of met him very recently in different circumstances, and he's so wonderful. You know, and the dynamic between our characters, you know, it's very much them two for a lot of the material, and I've been a massive fan of Michael's. I met him a couple of years ago, and we kind of kept in touch, and you know, so it was amazing that when he had this new project coming out, he sent it over.
And it's Robin Hood, but it's clearly a different kind of a Robin Hood story.
Yeah, very different.
Where is stage work for both of you now? I mean, you had like one of these once in a lifetime. I mean, that performance, you saw her on stage,
It was
I assume.
a tour de force. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
BIKERIDERS came. It was a lovely evening.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I showed up with Michael Shannon and Jeff Nichols, and we watched Jodie. And
Did that come before or after the shoot?
this was after.
So you're like, okay, I knew she was amazing.
Yeah,
This is insane.
It was like watching Michael Jordan play basketball.
Yeah.
You're just going, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
Let's pretend she's not in the room for a
Yeah,
second.
let's pretend she's not in the room.
Watching her do that, it's like magic. That's crazy.
It's like watching close-up magic.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about you like you're not here, but Jodie and I spoke at one point, and I was telling her that it's amazing when you get done watching that play and you feel that you saw so many people on stage. Yeah. I could see every scene, and it was so it was like a magic trick in that way, because what you were doing was so incredible that I can't even fathom how you did it. It's amazing.
I mean, theater obviously has been important to you. It was kind of the changing point in your
really
career.
I can't wait to get back on stage.
I mean, you're getting so many great opportunities in film. I get it in a way, but like, is that something that you're going to try and carve out time for at some point?
Absolutely. I'm trying to find the right piece of material and right time, and I feel fortunate for all the film work I've been able to do recently, but I can't wait to get back on stage.
I feel like I always ask Jodie about doing a musical. Would you ever do a musical on stage?
The musical keeps coming up for you.
No, it's because I say it so much.
Yeah.
Still hasn't happened.
I don't know if doing a musical on stage is something I would ever
Really?
do.
Yeah, I'm sorry, not for you.
She said,
I've heard your voice.
Austin, don't do it.
Definitely not.
No, I meant for
Definitely
myself.
not.
Sorry.
I realized that as well when I was doing the play, and oh my god, just to the work of like a musical theatre actor on stage is like
I mean, hats off to them. It's so impressive what they do.
Yeah. There's no trickery, foolery with that.
So
you know?
impressive.
Yeah.
Talk about igniting the internet every time we talk. We talked about Killing Eve last time. I still get people coming to me on social media. I can only imagine what they come to you on about the ending. Do people talk to you about the ending, like when they see you?
I mean, even more so now after that podcast, Josh.
I gotta listen to this podcast.
I don't know why she keeps coming back. Glutton for punishment.
I like you.
Shrek quizzes.
I appreciate you.
But yeah, they do more so now. I think because it like opened the floodgates a little bit.
Right. But it's all love. I mean, however they felt about it, it's the love of the show, and whether it's
of course. And there is still such a fondness for those characters in that story. It's kind of amazing. I was saying this the other day. It's like, you know, there's the kind of negative of like you always being attached to something, or people only seeing you as this one character. But then there's also the beauty of like. Sorry, I'm waving my microphone everywhere.
Wave the mic.
Sorry.
Wow.
Thank you.
It's a microphone intervention.
Yeah. This is the beauty of, you know, a character staying with people for that long and it meaning something and it resonating. Yeah.
That's how I am with him for Shannara Chronicles. I can't let go.
That's
I still see
a lot
you.
of people have mentioned that on this talk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we first met, so I'm not going to dig on it. Come on.
That's right.
Like, again, they're all important in their different ways, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are.
All right, so let's do some profoundly random questions, as if what I've asked you already hasn't been profoundly random. You've actually answered some of these, so you're off the hook for some of these.
Oh,
but,
brilliant.
I'll tell you which ones. This one you haven't answered. Any YouTube rabbit holes you've fallen into lately? If I catch you on the interwebs, what's the time suck?
YouTube rabbit hole. I have been watching. Well, I went through a phase of watching. There's a show that was on in the UK, like in the early 90s, called Airline.
Okay.
And it's like a reality TV show set in an airport. This is like pre-mobile phone, a lot of technology. And it's just about an airline and all the stuff that goes wrong within this airline and the half-an-hour episodes. But it's just like a fascinating thing to watch, to study people and how they behave.
Incubated, kind of like
yeah. I was kind of like prepping for an audition, and then I got kind of lost in it.
How is Jodie Comer still auditioning? What is going on? That's my takeaway from that.
Some you have to.
Wow.
Especially with like, say like a director works a lot with like improvisation. I feel like.
Sure.
But that was an audition, but it was nice. I hadn't done one for a while, and it was like, honestly, it's kind of to feel those kind of nerves, and for you to have to. I mean, it's an amazing thing to be offered a role. Like, there's no question about that. But you know, remembering that feeling of being like, I've got to study this, I've got to understand it, and then I've got to present what my interpretation is, rather than it being like you get into the first day on set and being like, well, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, well, it's selling.
And I hope that you like what I'm doing.
In some ways, it's selling to yourself as much as it is to the
Exactly.
director, right?
Totally.
Proving to yourself you can do it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So that's my rabbit hole.
That's a very good one.
You can pass if you don't have one. It's okay.
Just trying to think of.
Well, let's go to.
You have one pass that you're allowed. So
Yeah.
use
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Use it.
Yeah, Jodie knows the rules. She's like, he will nail you.
I'm like, you're not getting away with this.
Something's gonna come to me.
We were talking dogs when we sat down. Dogs or cats? You said you were more dogs.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have a dog now? Did I hear this?
do.
How's
Yeah.
that going? Being a dog mom.
Amazing. She's a menace, but I love her.
Has this taught you some responsibility?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Just putting something else before yourself has been a big thing. Also having to carry so much stuff, like treats and toys and that kind of thing.
And her name is Villanelle, obviously.
Her name is Villanelle.
There's an exclusive.
That's an official. Yeah. Let's go with that.
You seem to be a dog guy. You have a dog or no?
Yeah. So my little guy is Milo, and he's the greatest.
Okay. You guys aren't mistaken for actors ever. Last actor you were mistaken for? Does it ever happen?
I get Betty Gilpin a lot.
Betty Gilpin. Okay.
Yeah.
Very talented.
I went for lunch with her last year when I was in New York, and we were like, yeah, we get this a lot, but I see it, and it's an honor.
Yeah.
She's fabulous.
There's only one Austin Butler. What do you get mistaken
I don't
for?
know. Yeah. I can't remember the last time I was mistaken, but
You've been getting a lot of James Dean on this tour.
well, yeah. I mean, some people, I think it's the hair. But I remember Christopher Walken telling me that he gets mistaken for John Voight every now and then. And like
Until
people have
any
bought
words
him
come out of his
dinner
mouth, then you
thinking
know
that
it's
John
Walken.
Voight. Yeah, exactly.
Are you going to be a little sad when they do the next part of Dune? Fade. Gone too soon.
No, gone too soon. He was so much fun. Yeah. No, I don't know. He lives with me forever, I think.
Also quite nice to be able to like go in and experience that.
Yeah. It's kind of the best of all possible worlds in a way. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Who's more problematic, Villanelle or Fade? Who do we not want to invite over for dinner?
Maybe Fade.
Yeah,
Fade's-
Fade doesn't
give him
have
that crown.
much.
It's going to be bloody. 'Cause Villanelle has her good days.
Yeah.
And
I feel like she seems kind of like innocent next to him.
and she has a moral code of sorts in a way.
She definitely
right?
did towards the end. Maybe
Right.
too much of a moral code. She suddenly was had a lot of them.
Yeah. I don't think Fade has any moral
No,
code.
I think you win for sure.
Or lose, depending on your perspective.
Yeah.
Worst note a director has ever given you? Something get under your skin like, oh, this is just not helpful. This is not the right way to go.
I don't. Oh God, it's a good question. I'm gonna have to try and start remembering these
Yeah.
a bit more. But I feel like a universal one for actors is like the fear of a director coming in and just telling you to do less.
Oh, because that means you've...
Yeah, it's like
it
just
just makes you less.
Just do less.
Right.
And you're like,
yeah.
oh God, I was acting.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I was acting.
Oh no.
I feel like that's always
that's a
one
bad
that
feeling. Yeah.
makes you go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Less.
Years ago, this is not even a bad direction. It was probably good for me, but I had a director who hated when actors touched their face. And so like I touched my face, he'd cut, and he'd go, don't touch your face. And then go back, and if I touch my face, and at a certain point I thought, I touch my face so much in my real life that why isn't that a human thing to do? And it made me angry, and then it made me want to rebel and touch my face more. And
I wonder if it was more of like a he's thinking, can you just not touch your face
maybe,
that I can edit,
maybe.
you know?
Right.
Yeah, but meanwhile
But
the whole time
still.
I'm just covering my face.
But I do that
Is
as
this too much?
well.
Is this too much?
And then you become aware of it. You become so aware of it.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody. I remember that during the COVID times, honestly, like because they were you're not supposed to touch anything, and suddenly I was like, oh wait, I'm rubbing my eyes like every 30 seconds in my life.
Completely.
What if you were to host a podcast infringed on my territory? What would the subject be? What
Ooh.
What could you pontificate about for hours on end besides Shrek? Although we know that's not true.
Wow, shots fired. Did you feel that venom that he just...
that was the heat of
I
this
feel-
film. Actually, this has been a lovely conversation. I think we've taken up a bit of your
Costner
time.
move. He did the Costner.
I feel like it's such a like I honestly don't know. I feel like I'm always so amazed with like all the new podcasts coming out and what people kind of want to delve into or ruminate on, and actually how kind of every day those topics can be, but are so fascinating to listen to.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of fun ones, unpretentious answers. Because my first thought is the thing that I've obsessed about since I was a kid is acting. So to talk to other actors and to say like very practical questions about how do you handle this or that is those are the conversations I love.
Enjoy listening to.
Having, but I think that it's as an actor, it's a very boring answer.
No, I mean, does that happen? Is that like day 5 on set with Christopher Walken, where you start to get into like actual questions you want to ask?
It depends on the person. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends when they
sense the vibe.
And with you know, with somebody like, you know, there's certain actors that who I have so much respect for and don't want to infringe on their process, and I kind of just let them, if they want to talk to me, then I'll talk, like Joaquin or something like that, where at a certain point then having those conversations is something I value so much, and I'm so grateful for any moment that you can you know, pick somebody's brain.
Just hiding in the corner watching Joaquin as opposed to actually asking you a question.
Yeah, it's exactly what somebody wants, is you just hiding in the bushes watching them.
That's my technique. You answered these before. Let's see if your answers match up. We'll end with this. In the spirit of happy, sad, confused, an actor that always makes you happy.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good one.
I can tell you who you went with last time, or you want to see what pops to mind. You did.
Yeah.
Wow, good memory. What did?
I also rewatched No Country for Old Men the other night, and like again, as soon as he came on the screen, I was like, "Oh, Woody!" It's real.
Does something for
Yeah,
me.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. A movie that makes you sad. You went animated. But
I
you
did.
can mix it up.
Did I?
Oh my God, The Lion King.
That's a good one.
Yeah, speaking of animated,
those
that was
classic
one of the
Disney
first
as well.
movies to really make me sad.
I mean, the last time, I don't think I've ever cried at anything as much as I did when I watched All of Us Strangers. Like, that was intense.
Yeah,
That
kind of
was
built
intense.
up by the end, right? Like by the end,
It
you're
was
like,
a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. They didn't
Yeah.
prepare me for that.
yeah.
Yeah. I would probably, at the moment, I would say that was,
Is that a filmmaker on the list? Andrew Haigh?
Definitely.
Gotta be right.
Absolutely.
Luca, got to be on the list for any. I feel like every actor is like what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, what he's doing is amazing.
Did you see Challengers? I assume?
Yes, absolutely.
I haven't seen it yet, actually. I haven't seen it
awesome.
yet.
It's
I know
awesome.
I
Talk
need
about
to.
intense.
It's so great.
And finally, food that makes you confused, guys.
I said wasabi,
You said wasabi.
which isn't really a food, but
Wasabi makes you confused.
yeah,
You don't eat it?
doesn't. I find it overwhelming.
Well, if you snort it.
You're doing it the wrong way.
It's fine.
Let me show you how you do wasabi. For you, Austin?
Food that makes me confused. My Gosh, my brain always goes blank on these types of questions. What makes me confused?
What food is just not your bag? Like you see it on a menu. For me, I got a laundry list. I got beets. I got
like beets?
sour cream. I
I
got
don't like
mushrooms.
foie gras.
That is it the
really-
ethical thing or
It's
just taste it?
ethical. Yeah.
Which?
A
Foie gras.
Foie gras.
Foie gras?
Yeah, how do you pronounce it? Foie gras?
Foie gras.
Foie
Foie gras.
Yeah, I don't know how that's
Yeah,
being made.
I got you.
Yeah, that
You've
that
lost the foie
disturbs me.
gras contingent of Happy Sad Confused. They're a sponsor.
Oh no!
Congratulations on the
Thank
Bike
you.
Riders, you both. Jodie Comer's last appearance on the podcast, apparently. We had a
It's been a good run. It's been a good run.
So-
Listen, it's fine.
I think so. No, honestly, I adore you both. Congratulations on the film. I'm glad this has been a long press tour, and I really appreciate the time at the end of this to spend some time goofing around with me.
It's like the cherry on the cake.
Yeah,
Aw.
for real.
Yeah.
Very sweet. All right, everybody check it out. Great movie,
Yes.
great actors, Bike Riders, and then coming soon to Broadway, Bike Riders on Ice musical.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
That's the material you're looking
Exactly.
for, right? Yeah.
That's what I. That's just what I want to do next.
I'm going to destroy your career. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
And so ends another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to this show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a big podcast person. I'm Daisy Ridley, and I definitely wasn't pressured to do this by Josh.